You ever just stop and think about what's holding our digital lives together? All that invisible stuff? Well, in this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain on the hidden rules that run your digital world.
I mean, really think about it. You send a text, you stream a video, you pull up your GPS to find the nearest coffee shop, and it all just works. But how? Who's making the rules? Who's the ref in this massive global game?
Well, the answer, for the most part, is this organization right here, the International Telecommunication Union. You'll probably hear it called the ITU. Basically, it's a special agency of the UN, and its entire job is to coordinate, well, all things tech, but on a global scale.
Okay, so here's what we're going to dive into. We'll look at what makes the ITU the world's tech rulemaker, what its three big jobs are, and how it actually makes decisions. Then we'll follow the money, see what its goals are for the future, and, this is the big one, why any of this matters to you.
All right, first up, what's the core mission of this global tech rulemaker? And believe me, it's about way more than just bits and bytes.
And if you actually look at their founding mission, I mean, this is straight from their constitution. It's not really about the tech itself. It's about using that tech to connect people, to foster peace, and to drive development. That's a huge goal, right? Especially for an organization you'd think is just purely technical.
So, to tackle that massive mission, the ITU splits its work into three main jobs. Let's break down how they all fit together.
Okay, you can kind of think of it like this. First up, you've got ITUR, the radiocommunication sector. These guys are the traffic cops for the airwaves. They manage all the radio frequencies and satellite orbits to make sure your phone call doesn't accidentally mess with a pilot's navigation system. Simple enough? Then you've got ITUT, the standardization sector. Now they're like a universal translator for technology. They create the common language, the standards, that lets an email you send from a laptop in Korea show up perfectly on a smartphone in Brazil. And last but not least, there's ITUD, the development sector. Their whole focus is making sure everyone, everywhere can be part of this connected world. They're the ones on the ground working to close that digital divide.
So with so much at stake, you have to wonder, how does an organization with 193 different countries actually get anything done? Well, it's a pretty structured process.
Okay, so it all starts at the very top, with something called the Plenipotentiary Conference. This is the big one. It's where all 193 member countries get together and set the grand strategy. Then, in between those giant meetings, you've got the ITU Council. They're the governing body that, keeps the ship steering in the right direction. And then the actual day-to-day work, all that stuff like managing airwaves, setting standards, driving development, that's all handled by the bureaus. And each of those is headed up by an elected director.
Right. But of course, none of this happens for free. So let's do what we always do. Let's follow the money and see where it all comes from.
So this chart gives us a pretty clear picture. The vast majority of the money, we're talking over 437 million Swiss francs, comes directly from the member countries, so the national governments. Tech companies and other industry players, they chip in too, a smaller but still important amount. But here's the key takeaway. The ITU is mostly funded by nations for nations, and that means governments get the loudest voice in the room.
And when you add it all up, you get to a total planned revenue of 660 million Swiss francs over just a 4-year period. Think about that. That's the budget that fuels the coordination of our entire global digital infrastructure.
So where is all that money going? Well, the ITU's strategic plan lays out a really clear roadmap, a set of goals for building our connected future. These 5 goals, right from their Resolution 71, they guide pretty much everything the ITU does. It's not just about more connections, that's the growth part. It's about making sure nobody gets left behind, that's inclusiveness. It's about dealing with the environmental side of things like e-waste, that's sustainability. Fostering new tech is innovation. And finally, doing it all together, because let's face it, no single group can do this alone, that is partnership.
Okay, I know this can all sound a little abstract, a little bureaucratic, but the work the ITU does is literally woven into the fabric of your daily life in ways you've probably never even thought about. You know that little blue dot on your map app? The only reason that works is because the ITU's radiocommunication sector made sure that GPS signals have a clean, interference-free shot from a satellite in space all the way down to your phone.
Ever called a friend in another country? That call connecting seamlessly? That's only possible because the ITU standardization folks created the global technical rules that let all these different networks actually talk to each other.
And yet, the internet itself, the very fact that data can zip across this ridiculously complex global web of networks, that relies on foundational standards that were hammered out and agreed upon right at the ITU.
And look, it's not just about the tech we're all lucky enough to use every day. For the 2.7 billion people who are still offline, the ITU's development sector is out there working to bridge that massive digital divide, to give them a shot at joining our shared digital world.
So for over 150 years, the ITU has been this quiet, powerful rulemaker in the background. But now, as we're rushing into an era of AI, quantum computing, technologies we can't even imagine yet, it leaves us with a really critical question. Who should be writing the rules for our digital future?